Did you think about keeping any of it for yourself, or it always was like, this isn't my money?
Always. It never felt like there's nothing more important that I would want to do with it. It just felt like this was the right thing to do.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Good News Lady Show. Yay, I'm just excited. I'm excited because I love the story. I love this woman who we found. I think it's going to be a really encouraging story on a number of levels. First of all, do you struggle in the kitchen? This was definitely my story for a long time. This woman who has gone on to have great success and form a whole company around her cookies at one time was a terrible baker. So if you need that encouragement of what's possible, you definitely are going to want to listen in. It's also about overcoming obstacles. It's about getting the phone call. It's about what happens when something really good happens to you. What do you do with it? Can you take that and pay it forward? It all happens in this one woman story. And I'm really excited to introduce her to you and share Sam Opdenbosch, the cookie lady, the inspiring cookie lady. Oh, and one personal note, I've mentioned that we're in the process of kind of renovating this house at the coast, and we did a big paint job. So when the interview starts, you're going to see kind of a little magic trick happen. First of all the things behind me are going to disappear because they weren't there while they're being painted. And my hair, which is not a tattoo, is about to change as well. We're figuring it all out as we go. I hope you enjoy, and please like, if you will, and leave your comments below. Really want to hear what you want to see and hear about on the Good News Lady Show. Sam Opdenbosch, thank you so much for joining me here on the Good News Lady Show.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And
you are so much good news. I love so much about your story, and we're going to get into a lot of it. But one of the things, believe it or not, that I really, really love about your story, I am a recovering terrible cook. I've been teaching myself how to cook. I think I've made great progress. So I love the part of your story that here you are, the cookie lady, but there was a time when you were not good at making cookies.
Oh my gosh. In the beginning, I was thinking, you see these beautiful cookies, how hard could it be? And then time after time you try it and they just look terrible. So my sister and I thought, we have college degrees, surely we can make cookies that don't look like a 4-year-old. So we just kept at it, and here we are.
And what was the trick? I mean, I'm sure there was a whole process, but was there like a magic moment, like, oh, this is what makes a better cookie?
Oh, definitely. I think in the beginning, this is probably around 12 or 13 years ago, there weren't as many cookie people out there to follow. And at the time, it was like the Barefoot Baker and Karen's Cookies, different people like that would show you how to do an outline on a cookie. And then you would flood it with a little bit looser consistency icing. And then you would shake it or you would tap it and it would just smooth over. And so it was just this lightning bolt moment where here we go. That's how they do it.
Got it. So I'm in the club. I'm in the cookie club. Now I know.
Yes. And then I started teaching my friends and started teaching classes, and it just has snowballed from there. And now everywhere I go, people are asking me if I have cookies.
Good to see you, Sam, but where are the cookies?
Right. I mean, last night I went to dinner with some friends and they were like, where are they? Bring them.
So this also became a sales tool for you, because that's been your day job as a salesperson, and you're like, oh, this is a good way to get in the door.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you're always trying to find that next thing that people can get excited about. All of the branded promotional items can be a little, simple, and they've seen them over and over and over again. So I had to try and figure out something different to do for holidays. So when Valentine's came around, I would make heart cookies, and then I would drop them off to all my clients. Or when St. Patrick's Day came, I would drop off, little 4-leaf clovers. So it just is one of those things where people just started to expect cookies everywhere I went for a presentation. And now, I bring cookies everywhere I go. So it's been fantastic, because not only do they want to talk about the cookies, I can talk about whatever else I'm selling. So it all works out in the end.
There's a pandemic twist to your story as well. So many of us have a pandemic story, but Yours is, first of all, you lost your job.
Yes. So I lost my job in May of 2020. It was definitely a little unexpected, but you've got to turn lemons into lemonade. So once that happened, I decided to start working for myself during the day as an independent sales rep versus working for one specific manufacturer. Now I represent 6 different manufacturers. And then my night job has always been making cookies and doing that also on the weekend. So I decided to change my business just a little bit, and Food Network came calling.
Wait,
and they found me on.
Which is the thing, like, how does Food Network, I mean, it's one, you're making your cookies, and then one day Food Network calls. Like, that first phone call from Food Network, was that like, holy moly?
Well, it was actually an Instagram message. So when they initially made the message, of course, I thought it was not true. I thought, this is definitely a scam. Like, this is not real. This is not happening. And they asked me if I was interested in auditioning for Christmas Cookie Challenge. And so I thought, of course, yes, absolutely, I'm interested. And so we went through one phone call, and I submitted my video, and then I didn't hear anything in 2020. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm just not what they were looking for at the time. Fast forward to 2021, the same person reached out again. And I said, yes, absolutely. I used the same video as before. I immediately sent it in, and I had a phone interview. And after the phone interview, I had a Zoom interview. After the Zoom interview, I had another phone interview. And it just sort of kept going. And then I found out 2 weeks before they started filming that I did not make the show, that I was an alternate. So as bummed as I was, of course, yeah. I was super disappointed, but I thought, gosh, I made it so far. Maybe, just maybe, I can make it next year, like 2022. So I put it out of my head completely. It was just gone. Like, this is not happening this year, just move on. So I went to get my car washed to go to a presentation, and sure enough, my phone started blowing up. They said, someone got sick. Can you drive to Tennessee? And I thought, I have so many appointments. No. And then I was like, wait, keep a level head. Maybe you can call these people and reschedule. So I got on the phone and I rescheduled appointments and drove to Tennessee that day, filmed the show the next day. The rest is history.
How long from when you showed up to when you were made the winner?
Probably about 24 hours. It wasn't that long, maybe 27 hours.
So how many rounds do you, how does it work in real life? How many rounds do you shoot?
So there are 5 people competing on the show. You've got 2 rounds. The first round is an hour and a half, and then 2 people get knocked out. The remaining 3 people go for the major win, which is $10,000, and they are going to compete for 2.5 hours. And then they announce a winner. It all happens right then and there. You don't get extra time. It literally is exactly what you see on the show. That's all the time you get. Yeah.
And so in these rounds, I'm imagining it's like these other food competition shows where you present your cookies and there are these judges and they think, oh, I love this cookie, but this is awful. Like, did they rip your cookies apart? Was there anything that hurt your feelings? Did anything go wrong?
Oh my gosh, what went right? They were so amazing to me in editing that it looks like I was cool as a cucumber the entire time, that I had a level head. But if I'm being honest, I was screaming and crying the entire time inside. Round 1, my entire workstation looked like a bomb went off. I dropped a knife and thought, surely I'm about to cut my finger off. And then it fell on the floor. And then I thought, now I'm going to cut a toe off too. Like, anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And, in editing, they just made everything look so perfect.
And when you did win, what was it about your winning cookie that they loved?
Part of the challenge was making a spherical cookie and for it to stand up on its own. And what I did was, I kept thinking about it, like, how can I make this happen? And I think what set me apart is that I filed down each, side of the cookie that was going to connect with another cookie. So it was a flat side, and they just perfectly stood up together whether they were glued together or not. So I think the reason why I won is that my snowman was structurally sound. Yeah. I think that just goes back to just school days of doing models and that kind of stuff. So it worked out.
You pulled out. So then you win this $10,000.
Yes.
Awesome. We can all use $10,000. That's a whole other part of your story, the journey of the $10,000. Tell me what you did with it and why.
So, I was not expecting to make it on the show. I surely was not expecting to win the show. I mean, as I mentioned, I was an alternate. I wasn't even supposed to be on the show. So I really tried to figure out, well, what can I do with this money that could make a difference? And, we've been able to stay safe here in our home, working full time, both jobs. And we just thought it would be so great to give back. And so half of the money went to Piedmont Healthcare frontline workers. This will help them with their employee morale. It will help them with childcare if they get called in. It will help them with a number of different things, but it's specifically for frontline workers. The other remaining half was split between two different shelters that we got our cats from. $2,500 went to Angels Among Us, and the remaining $2,500 went to Fur Kids, they're both amazing organizations.
Did you think about keeping any of it for yourself, or it always was like, this isn't my money?
Always. It never felt like there's nothing more important that I would want to do with it. It just felt like this was the right thing to do.
Amazing. And that must have just felt so great to present that money.
Oh, it was great. I got a tour of the hospital. I got to see the new neurology wing. I mean, the hospital felt like it was pretty empty, but this is COVID times. And then, of course, when I got to deliver the checks for the shelters, I got to play with kittens and puppies. And I mean, it was so great. It was just so great. I can't say enough positive things about it. And I'm hoping that, other people start to think about, hey, I have some extra funds here and there. What could I do with it? I think, this is a great opportunity to maybe do the same thing.
That is awesome. And what's the big dream, the big grand dream for Sam's Cookie Company?
I don't know. I think it's ever evolving, and I'm really loving combining cookies and technology. You see this thing pop up sometimes, and it says that you need to accept these cookies for better performance. And I'm always thinking I'm doing the same thing. It's all about cookies. And I mean, you can't be upset when someone gives you a cookie. You can't be upset eating a cookie. Cookies are just great.
And so are you. So thank you for sharing your story. Congratulations on the win. Even bigger congratulations on what you did with your winnings. And I just know you are inspiring so many people. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate this interview.
And where can people find out more?
They can go to samscookiecompany.com, or they can go to Instagram, Sam's Cookie Company, or even Facebook. Same thing, Sam's Cookie Company.
We will be following. Thank you. And we'll provide links.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam.